Are men slaves to their gender roles? I would say yeah, and for good reason. Let's take a look at the questions.
Should men have the freedom to ditch their traditional gender roles just like women do?
No.
Yes, absolutely. Why not?
I think that might limit them sometimes, but I feel like
The reason I say no, sorry to stop it so quick, but if men did ditch their traditional gender roles, society would collapse. Maybe in a few weeks.
everyone should have freedom to do what they want to do, no matter what sex they are.
You should be able to have that freedom. Everybody should have the liberty to do whatever they want in a relationship. But is it frowned upon? Yes, for men, yes it is, of course.
What do you think that does to his dating options and why?
Well, they probably limits them by a significant amount if he's looking for women, but
I prefer a traditional woman. I want to take care of you, and I want you to take care of me emotionally, and I'll take care of you financially and physically. That's me. If you did.
I mean, that was the traditional contract. You know, if you listen to me, cook and clean for me, I'll make sure that you're protected and provided for. I think nowadays, especially with, my age group and younger, I hear a lot signing a bad contract, meaning that someone is incentivized to leave that. And you don't really have as much as our grandfathers did. At least then they had a house, children, and, invest into the community. I mean, now you got people 30 plus that don't have a house, apartment, so it's not as much ownership as back then.
Ditch that, you're probably going to get with someone who doesn't give a shit about you.
Women's gender roles originally were just to stay at home and be housewives, and men were to go to work, and they're still expected to do that and provide for the family, but women aren't, in a way, you know what I mean?
So does he actually have the freedom, or do women enforce these roles based on their selections in men?
I think it's a man's choice, and women, I think naturally women probably want to procreate.
I think it's from the women and the state. I think both kind of make sure that men have to adhere to their gender roles. Because, I mean, if you don't enroll into the draft, you can't vote. And that's something that's strictly for men. And of course, if you're not a masculine, if you're not adhering to these traditional values that women across the board want, you're just not going to get picked. I mean, it's as simple as that.
And so generally would reinforce it, but if a man doesn't want to do that, then it's his choice.
I think a lot of girls expect the man to provide and work while they stay at home, and if a man doesn't want to do that, then that it decreases his options.
What do you think that does to his dating options and why?
What does it do? I mean, it probably limits them because a lot of women have a different set boundaries, but I mean, once you find the person that is okay with it, it works.
So does he actually have the freedom, or do women enforce those roles based on their selections in men?
Probably enforce it because everyone has boundaries, but...
So do you think that men are slaves to their gender roles?
I would like to say no, but then I guess you could turn around and think, are women slaves to their gender roles as well?
Well, yeah, but do you think that a woman has to cook and...
Women are not slaves to their roles at all. If they were slaves to their traditional roles, you would have a lot more young men invested into society instead of checking out and moving other places.
Clean and do all those traditional things to be with men?
That you said women have to?
No, do you think that women have to do all those traditional things to be with men?
No.
Women don't do a lot of young women don't do this stuff, and men still want them. Even if it's out of just lust or if it's to move forward and make a family, men still want women. If ever there came a day where they didn't, we would not survive. I mean, our birth rate is already abysmal, but that goes into the 1.2, 1.3 million divorces. Not divorces, but abortions just in 2025. Crazy numbers.
No.
So then wouldn't men be more likely to be slaves to their gender roles than women?
Then probably.
There we go.
Why do people think male loneliness is self-inflicted if women's mate choice still overwhelmingly rewards traditional masculinity?
Yeah, unfortunately, women want the top 5% of men, and so that leaves just 95% of men with no.
Yo, facts. And especially dating apps now kind of highlight this to a major degree. Only the top percent of the men get chosen. And it just kind of is what it is. You know, hey, you got to better yourself. But again, that just goes with the investment. And it's not so much of a problem like the top echelon of women are choosing. It's like everybody. You know, you got fucking, you know, Sharkeisha, wanting Brad Pitt. And it's like, you know, just level yourself up and try to get the best results you can.
No choices.
Why do women complain about a gender pay gap if men typically have to earn more money in order to be chosen by women?
Because in today's day and age, women are single mothers, they live on their own, they're lesbians, and they also need to make as much as men do.
If a man doesn't want to be the provider, protector, or initiator in dating, is that attractive?
No.
It depends on who's, you know, what the girl wants.
Man, come on. Do y'all think it depends? Or is it just not attractive? Like, I don't... Yeah, I'm going to go on this date, but you going to pay for everything. And, you know, just let me know when you pay. Like, come on, bro. It's not. I got sisters. Anyone come up to me saying, you know, I'm paying for the dates, I'm going to be like, you know, why you with buddy? You know?
But personally, yes, that's not attractive. That's... Like, I would want a man to provide. I wouldn't want him to, like...
Absolutely.
It depends. Like, if he's just staying at home doing absolutely nothing, I wouldn't want that.
Why are gender roles optional for women but mandatory for men?
I feel like they're optional for women
Society
because
crash.
women have a idea that they don't have to do certain things if they don't want to do it. But men, you can have that same idea, but you just won't be chosen at the end of the day.
I don't think it's necessarily that way. I think that we're opening up more as a society for both roles. But yeah, probably the male traditional gender role is moving a little bit slower.
Why are gender roles optional for women but mandatory for men?
This is, like, waking me up. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, these questions are waking me up. I don't know.
Great
I
questions.
couldn't answer that.
What would it look like for men to fully opt out of traditional male roles?
Terrible.
Well, okay, honestly, I feel like if they completely, like, switch sides, they would just be at home cooking, cleaning. But I think it should be equal. Like, I feel like both the woman and the man should be working, providing.
Look, if men didn't adhere to their traditional roles, society would collapse. The whole infrastructure would collapse. I think that men should be held to their traditional standards. I just think they should get something for it. You know, I don't think it's fair to, you know, be a traditional man and you're not with a woman that's so traditional. I hate using like these terms, but it's the easiest way to understand. But yeah, if you make that sacrifice, you should get something for your sacrifice. Whether it be the old 40 acres and a mule or what, you should get something for that sacrifice and for taking on that obligation and responsibility.
For the household and also cleaning up as well.
If a woman seeks independence, we call it empowerment. If a man seeks freedom from his obligations, what do we call that?
Probably laziness.
There we go, lazy.
Why is there a difference?
No.
Because a man is, like, seen as, like, he's supposed to be doing this.
Do you think men are
Expectations.
slaves to their gender roles?
Yeah, if you want to be a good husband or a good boyfriend or whatever role you're playing in your relationship, then I feel like you have to play that role and you have to play it well.
I feel like men should be slaves to a point. I don't mean slaves in a negative way. I mean, make your woman happy, she'll make you happy. If for some reason you're not understanding the gender roles, it's probably why you're not happy, in my opinion.
I'm gonna be real. Like any relationship I see that lasts, you know, it's always love, sacrifice, and peace. You know, some essence of peace. Like, you know, I don't want to be that. And I see this a lot too, man. Like, unfortunately, I do see it a lot. You got like the fucking old 40-year-olds, not old 40-year-old, the old 60-year-old guy, and saying like, ha, don't get married, and like, yo, they be kind of meaning that stuff, man. Like, I don't want to be in one of those where it's like I feel trapped, or, you know, I want to be happy. I want to be with the person that I would like willingly give my life for. You feel me?
Who enforces gender roles more, men or women?
I feel like women do.
Women in society.
How?
Women, they say that you're supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that, and I feel like men, on the other hand, are pretty much just relaxed and laid back. Now, a lot of traditional men may enforce it, but I feel like women overall more likely to enforce those gender roles.
Please stop using these outdated chess machines. This is a 2024 version and this is a 2025 version. The 2024 version is just a little bit too short and it only had 15 different power levels, so it's pretty light at the end of the day.
Why are gender roles strictly enforced in straight relationships as opposed to same-sex couples?
I'm not sure about that. I think the gays have it absolutely, they have the best situation possible. Open relationships, everyone's happy. I don't quite.
Yo, great question. It's like in those lesbian relationships, like the masculine lesbian is not held to the same standard as a man would be. You know, like who pays for the bill, who split. Like, yo, these are great questions, but it's complicated. It really gets you thinking, and it really makes you look at, relationship dynamics at a micro level.
I'd understand why it's different in traditional relationships.
I think women will prefer for the man to do everything and like pay for things that need to be paid for. But when you're dating same sex as I am, it's kind of just like, oh, okay, you're paying, I'll get you next time. Okay, you're paying, you're buying me this, I'll get you next time.
But why is it different?
When women go out with women, they'll often split the bill and hold the door open for each other. Why is it as soon as a man's involved, he has to do all the work?
I think women consider it more respectful for the man to do the things for the woman because of traditional habits.
Wouldn't it be
Okay,
polite and
response.
respectful for women to do all the same things for men?
Yes, like me as a woman, I do the same things for my guy friends and things like that. I think it would be a lot more respectful.
If a man ditches his gender roles, does that make him a
Is that
woman?
a wink?
No, I don't think it makes him a woman per se. It's just what he chooses to be.
Oh man, if you ditch your gender roles,
If you ditch your gender role, you won't be respected by men or women. As men, we know the experience of being a man. You get respect for going through that experience, making the best out of it, struggling, coming out of the struggle. The hero's journey is, in every popular movie story, the hero's journey is there for a reason. And that's kind of what we go through as men, is the hero's journey. And when other men see that, they give you respect for it. And, every woman wants to be waiting at the end of the line for that winner, so to speak. So, yeah.
I mean, it's literally called gender roles. If you're not doing your role as in your gender, then I guess you're not that gender anymore.
If a woman ditches her roles, does that make her a man?
No, absolutely not. No one says that.
I feel like women have more of a say-so in this because a man is more prepared to take care of himself, whereas women feel like sometimes they want to be taken care of. They don't need to be. Let's not get that twisted, but sometimes women want to be more than men.
What happens to relationships if both partners reject traditional roles?
Ooh. Then I guess we just have a completely different culture and society, and that's probably where we're moving.
Yeah.
If equality is the goal,
Stuff keep going like this, man. 20 years from now, like what are things gonna look like? Just kind of moving at the same pace because we're not replacing ourselves. Like the birth rate is, like below replacement level. So like 20 years from now, I wonder what that'll really look like if we keep going at the same pace that we're at now. Like,
should expectations decrease for everyone or increase for everyone?
I think it, I don't know. I think maybe decrease, and I feel like everyone should be doing the same thing.
Do we judge men more harshly for not fulfilling roles than we judge women?
Of course.
there we
Why
go.
is that?
Absolutely.
I feel like men have a certain stigma over them that if you don't do what a man is supposed to do, whatever that's supposed to mean to you, then you're not a man.
We have a responsibility and an obligation. And if we don't adhere to those responsibilities or obligation, society falls. It's so simple. Like, it is what it is. We gotta take it.
So how are men not just slaves to their gender roles?
That is true. That is very true.
What would it look like for men to fully opt out of traditional male roles?
I think you would see more men in like childcare, in traditionally feminine workforces. That'd probably be a big one.
We would have.
I'm sorry, man. I don't want Butch taking care of my mom when she's like 80. I just want. Give me Sally or Ashley. I'm just saying, man.
Less roads and less buildings and less construction in general, less sewage. less of a lot of things that men do to build this community.
Would society function differently if large numbers of men stopped protecting and providing?
Well, yes, I think it would. I mean, well, I think that women are obviously working more within the last 70 years and conforming to, what was traditionally seen as a male role. And so it's just we are constantly.
Shout out to doubling the workforce. If it's one thing that's facts, feminism doubled the workforce. Somehow, when you got more people working, you can pay people less. People playing chess
Changing.
out here.
Culture is constantly changing. Roles are constantly changing. So nothing's traditional anymore.
Do people still prefer traditional male behavior even while saying roles shouldn't matter?
Yes, I think deep down for many people they do, although I think there are parts of society that are changing, but women do appreciate assertive men. We prefer men that take care of us. Yeah, a lot of women do.
Is there a difference between what we say we believe and what we reward in practice?
Actions speak louder than words.
If a woman seeks independence, we call it empowerment. If a man seeks freedom from obligation, what do we call that?
A lot of people would like to call it.
I would say, I don't know. I got a lot of bad words that come to mind. Like when that question's asked, like nothing good came to mind. Nothing like empowering or nothing good came to mind. It was always bad stuff.
The cowardice.
There we go.
Not attractive.
There we go.
Why might those reactions be different?
It depends who you're talking to and probably where you're from.
Because if a man runs from responsibility, people see it as him running from his role. And if a woman seeks freedom, it's
Choosing
empowerment
herself.
because, like I said earlier, other women like to stick beside other women. And a lot of men won't do that because they'll frown upon other men for doing exactly that.
Man, nobody respects what's easy. Nobody respect what comes easy, especially men. If you had to grind for what you have, you put in the time, the effort, and you suffered, you get the thing plus the respect. And man, it feels so much better that way.
Should fairness mean equal rights, equal responsibilities, or both?
Fairness means equal opportunity. Equal opportunity. Not equal outcomes.
Yeah, I think it's a both situation. I mean, equality just means, the freedom to be able to be who you want to be.
At what point does unfairness become injustice?
When it actively affects how you can live your life.
Can you define the word emasculate?
Emasculate, like strip a man like of his masculinity.
Emasculate means to deprive a man of his male role or identity.
Yeah.
So is emasculating men humiliation or liberation?
I don't know what liberation is.
Freedom.
Honestly, I appreciate
Freedom?
it.
I feel like it's both because, like, you're liberated from the normal male roles, but at the same time, you're humiliated because someone doesn't feel like you can take on those male roles.
If a man doesn't want to be the
Man, it's a certain level of pride that comes with it too. Like, kind of been talking about it, but what's not easily attainable is respect. What's hard is respect. Going through life can be hard, especially as a man. When you rise up to that challenge and you face it and you get knocked down, you get back up, you face it again, and go through that whole cycle of doing that, you not only build up yourself, you build up the stuff to make you attractive to women, but you also just build up yourself to feel fulfilled and happy. Like, it's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
provider, protector, or initiator in dating, is that okay?
As long as you're upfront about it and you're on the same page, do what you want.
If a woman prefers not to cook, clean, or be nurturing, most people accept that. Should the same acceptance apply to men in reverse situations?
Like I said, I think it depends on your partner. I love cooking for my partner. It's really all about if you're communicating.
Do we judge men more harshly for not fulfilling roles than we judge women?
I think men judge themselves harsher.
Why would
Correct answer is yes. Everyone does.
women appreciate the sacrifices men make when men are required to make those sacrifices to be with women in the first place?
I don't think they're necessarily required to. It's a choice because of what attracts women.
But there's a lot of girls out there that say they want all this and all that, but then they still get them with a man that like does absolutely nothing, stays on the couch, you know.
Why does modern relationship often mean modern privileges for women, but traditional obligations for men?
Because that's evolution.
Would society function differently if large numbers of men stopped protecting or providing?
Yeah.
How so?
What? Brother, I think in like third world countries where your survival is tied more to your traditional role, people just tend to fall into place naturally because it gives them the highest chance to survive. If large numbers of men quit the U.S. military or any military, you're going to be susceptible. And the last thing you want is people that don't like you or your country that come in and take control. I promise you, you will realize that, oh, this wasn't a patriarchy the whole time. Sheesh.
Because a lot of women now expect a man to buy them expensive things, provide, spend a lot of money on them, you know, wife them up, have kids, while they do absolutely nothing. Well, they clean the house, you know, make sure everything's done, while they just provide all the money.
Can true equality exist if only one side can safely reject expectations without social or romantic punishment?
Okay, so I think that kind of a question is something that will evolve over time. We think one way now, but in 20 years we might think completely different culturally.
Where do you think we're headed?
20 years.
I think we are heading to a much more open society, a much more blended society in terms of race, ethnicity. So yeah, everything is just becoming more open.
Would society function differently if large numbers of men stopped protecting or providing?
Yes, society would function differently.
How so?
I feel like there would be an overwhelming amount of men that would just lay comfortably or be comfortably in a relationship and not want to do anything. And women wouldn't be okay with that. And I feel like a lot of relationships wouldn't be in existence today.
What would a genuinely role-neutral society look like for men and women?
It would mean that you could do anything as a career that you would want to do, and it would, like, men just...
I'm sorry, that just sounds so crazy to me. Like, you know, there's certain roles that you want to see certain genders in. Like, if I'm in a burning building and I can't get out, or if I'm at the top, I want fucking Butch, or, you know, buy some swole, big, masculine, break down that door, get me out of this fire. I don't want, you know, Maria to come up in there, you know, trying to get it. Man, I'm burned up to death, man. So it's like certain roles that fit certain genders better. That's okay. That is okay. Like, we complement each other. And I don't see the problem with that at all.
Staying home, more men staying home than women to take care of kids.
Do people still prefer traditional male behavior even while saying roles shouldn't matter?
Yes, people do prefer traditional male behavior because that's what you're used to seeing when you're growing up.
Is there a difference between what we say we believe and what we reward in practice?
Yes, there is a difference in what we say we believe. A lot of people believe in freedom in a relationship, but at the same time they want someone to be a traditional male or traditional woman in a relationship.
Do you personally support men having the same freedom to redefine themselves that women have gained?
Yes, absolutely, but not my husband.
I was about to say it sound good. Boy, it sound good. It do sound good. That's about it, though.
No, my husband needs to work.
What's one expectation on men you think should change and one that maybe shouldn't?
I think one expectation of men that should change is that they should always be the ones to pay for things and like take control of the house. I think that women can also, treat their man, because I'm in a lesbian relationship, so we like to treat each other, One that I think shouldn't change is a woman.
Random note, I think being a lesbian is a phase. I know there's old lesbians, but I think from like 20 to 30, a lot of those lesbians fall off and they're like, you know what? Having a kid doesn't sound too bad. Just my personal opinion.
Like a woman just like getting things done for her husband sometimes. Like I understand, like you want to come home to a clean house, the dishes done, dinner, things like that.
And lastly, if the rules were rewritten from scratch today, what would be the fairest standard for everyone?
That both men and women can both work, and it's not like one has to work and one has to clean the house.
So you would basically say that gender roles should kind of just disappear for everyone, you think?
Yeah.
Terrible take.
Do you think that most women would find that attractive, though?
No.
Terrible take. Man, shout out to It's Complicated. Really
These meals changed
provides
everything.
Some thought-provoking questions, and it not only does it get the person answering the question to think, like even myself and you guys watching it. So great video by It's Complicated. Go over there and show some love. Hey, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy with a mic. Appreciate you tuning in.